All right, looks like it is 9 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So let me share my screen. All right. So welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for today's webinar. This is Checklist for the Fall Term. Over the next 20 or so minutes, I'm going to be walking you through a few key reminders that will help ensure that you're set up and ready to go for the new term. If you do happen to have any questions throughout my session, please feel free to chat those into the Q&A box located at the bottom center of Zoom, and I'll be sure to reserve some time at the end to address your questions. And with that, I'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click into your course on your Teach dashboard. And step one of getting set up for the new term is to archive our old sections. So what this is going to allow us to do is to preserve previous term records for future review in case we ever need that. So you're going to go to Tools and then Archive Gradebooks. It's the third option down on the left. And this is going to take a screenshot of all of your grades up until this point. So I would suggest you name it with the semester and the year so that you know for future reference when you took this archive. And then you'll just hit Archive Gradebook, and it'll take a minute because it is gathering all that data. So just let it do its thing, and then you'll be done. So that's step one, super easy. For step two, we're actually going to return to our tools menu here, and we're going to go to Reset Gradebooks. This is the second option down on the left. And when we reset our gradebooks, we want to break the LMS integration links from previous sections. So if you sync your course in Hawks to a course in your LMS like Canvas, Blackboard, Moodle, Brightspace, breaking the links ensures that students aren't accidentally moved back to those old sections, and that old grade data isn't constantly trying to sync over to your LMS. So we do want to wait to do this until your old term is fully wrapped up and students are no longer accessing Hawks. But once that happens, in order to break those links, all you need to do is select this middle button here, Remove Section LMS Associations, if any, select the check mark, and then select which section you want to break the links for. And then hit Reset Gradebook, and then hit OK. So once again, it is archiving and resetting. So it's a lot of data that it's working with. So it will take just a minute here. But we do always recommend this as a best practice to kind of wrap up your old section and get started fresh with your new term. So we'll give this just 1 minute to finish archiving. Okay, so it archived successfully, or it broke the link successfully, sorry. So now we're going to go back to tools one more time. And step 3 is to set up our section shells for the new term. So in order to do this, we're going to go to Manage Sections. And then we want to add a new section for every section of the course that you're assigned to teach. So you'll click Add a New Section up in the top left here. All right. And then now you're going to put in your basic settings. So things like the section name and the meeting times. So for the name, I would recommend that you include the course name or the CRN as well as the semester. So let's say this is Math 110 Fall 2022. And then section meeting times, there we go. And then start and end date, we do recommend that you include these for a couple reasons. So inputting the start and end dates prevents students from receiving credit for assignments that they complete before or after the term, just kind of keeps things wrapped up within the confines of the semester. But also start and end dates allow students to request free temporary access, which we provide for all of our products. When students create their account, they can request free temporary access for 20 days before they're prompted to purchase the product. But in order for them to have that option for temporary access, you do need to have start and end dates included here. So let's make our end date, let's say December, and our start date will be today. And then we do recommend that you check the check boxes underneath the start and end dates as well, just to prevent students' work from coming in from before or after the semester is over. And then you can also edit the time of day that lessons are due. It defaults to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, but you can edit that if you like. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and save changes. And then I'm going to jump back into that section to show you one more thing. So in terms of adding assignments and settings to this new section that you just started creating, we can either build a section from scratch, or we can use our course copy tool to reuse assignments and settings from a previous term. So the course copy tool is this gray box over here to the right, the darker gray box. And this is what allows you to reuse assignments and settings from the past. So I'm actually going to go to copy settings from another section. And I had this same class in the spring. So I'm actually going to copy all of my assignments over from the spring to this fall. Now if you choose to do this, you are going to get this pop-up window that says copy basic settings. You want to say no always to this window, because if you said yes, it would override all of those section details that you just included. So like the name, the start end dates, the meeting times, all of those things. So we want to say no. And then you'll see in the course copy tool box what it is copying over. So the homework, lesson due dates template, I have another assignment in here, a curriculum template, some course materials, a late penalty, and a reminders template. So all of that is now going to be copied over to my fall section. And then from here, I can go in and make any tweaks if I want. So once I've done that, I'm going to hit save changes to apply those changes, and then click yes. And that'll take just a second here. All right, so now we've started setting up our fall section. So what we want to do for step 4 is to actually hide any old sections. This allows you to keep students in those old sections for record keeping or for future grade disputes, but it will hide those sections and students from other areas of the gradebook for easier access to your current sections, and just so that it's less confusing for you. So it will always still show up here in your list of sections, but once you've hidden it, it will show over here, visible to student, no, visible in gradebook, no. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my spring section by clicking the little check mark and then hide section up at the top. And then you want to choose hide from gradebook, because this will also hide it from your students. So you can see now it says spring 2022, visible to student, no, visible in gradebook, no. So this just kind of cleans up my gradebook a little bit while preserving those records for the future. All right, but you do want to make sure to wait and hide until after if you're copying, you're using the course copy tool to copy over that section, it won't show up in the dropdown if it's hidden. So make sure you wait until after you've used that course copy tool and then go ahead and hide the old sections. So that was step 4. Now step 5 is to update any lesson due dates or web tests. So because I used the course copy tool, the reminder templates, the late penalties, the curriculum, all of that copied over, but I do need to update any assignments that have dates attached, because I did pull over all of those spring 2022 dates when I pulled over those assignments. So in order to do this, we're going to go to assignments, and then we're going to go to lesson due dates. Now, lesson due dates is where you pick out which Hawks homework lessons you want to assign to your students. If you are starting from scratch and you did not use the course copy tool, it's going to say in this dropdown by your section, it's going to say no due date template assigned, which you can see up here at the top. And from there, you would just click into the name of your section, and you could just start from scratch by inputting your due dates for each lesson. Now, because I am using my old template as a starting place, I'm going to want to make a copy of this template and then just make a few changes. So I want to use this as a starting place because I want to assign all the same assignments and just adjust the dates. So if this is what you're doing, I suggest that you go to manage by template, and we'll make a copy of that original template so we don't mess with the original. So then you'll find your template from the list. Here's mine, homework spring 2022. Select the check mark, scroll back up and hit copy. And then if you scroll back down to your name, you'll see a new template that says copy 1 of whatever the name was. So then I'm going to click into that. And then the first thing I want to do, so I don't get confused, is hit rename. I'm going to give this template a new name. I'm going to call it homework for fall 2022. All right, so now from here, I can see all of my due dates from the spring. So these are the lessons I assigned in spring. I want to keep those assigned, but I just want to shift them from spring to fall. So what you can do, instead of having to go in and adjust every date individually, is you can actually use our shift multiple due dates button. So if you click that, and then step 1 is to select the first lesson due date to shift, which is going to be, in my case, January 19th. And then I'm going to select a new date for that lesson to be due this semester, which let's say August 31st. And then for the final step, you'll just hit go, and it will shift all of your due dates by that number of days. So you can see now that I have due dates starting on the 31st, and then September 2nd, September 5th, and so on. So you probably do at this point want to go through and spot check the due dates and make sure that they're all following where you want them to. But it is a really good place to start to kind of just batch move it all at once. So now we just need to make sure this is saved. So we'll hit save changes. And then we need to apply this new template to our fall section. So to do that, we're going to hit copy to another section. And then you'll see your new due date template is up here in the dropdown, and I'm going to select my new section and click Save Changes. Hit OK. And then if we go back to assignments and lesson due dates, we can check and make sure that it was applied. So for my fall 2022 section, it says my homework 22 due date template has been applied. So successful there. So just as a reminder, if you are starting from scratch here, all you would need to do is click into the name of your section and then input the dates for each lesson that you want to assign. All you need to do to assign it is put in a due date and save, and then that will show up in the student's to-do list as due on that day. Now, you also do have the option to assign lessons without a due date if you have more of a self-paced course. So if you want to do that, you would select show additional options. And then from there, you can select the assign checkmark in this column and zero out the due date field. So there's no due date, but it's still assigned. So that's an option for you. And then once you're done making changes, always remember to save. All right, so then from there, the last thing we need to check on is our web test due dates. So we're going to go back to assignments. And then the third button down here is web tests. So if you copied from an old section that had web tests assigned, you will need to update those due dates to align them with the new semester. So in order to do this, you're going to go to view by section and then select your new section and then select general settings. And then from here, you'll see all of the web tests that were assigned to your old section and then copied over and are now assigned to your new section. So I have tests 1, 2, and 3 in February, March, and April. So what I would want to do is just go ahead and update those dates. So let's say instead of February, I want it to be September 1st to September 2nd. And then test 2 would be October 1st to October 2nd, and so on. And then test 3 would be November 1st to November 2nd. You can also edit the open and close times if you like, and then just check and make sure that everything is visible and assigned to the right assignment group. and then hit save. So now those tests will be assigned for your correct dates for the fall term. All right. And then in terms of creating a new test, if you are starting from scratch or you just want to create an additional test, you would just go back to the main web test page and then click this create new button up here, and you can build a test from scratch. All right. So now that we have set up our section and we've set up lesson due dates and web tests, we've adjusted those dates. There's one other new feature that I want to highlight for y'all that we've just recently rolled out. And I think it might be helpful for y'all this semester. So I'm actually going to switch real quick to my other grade book. And then this is our assignment calendar feature. So this was really highly requested. So we hope that y'all get a lot of use out of it and your students find it really helpful. So to access it, you're going to go to assignments and then scroll down to calendar. It's the last button there. So here on the calendar, you'll see all of your assignments in a comprehensive calendar view. So I do recommend that you wait to view this calendar until after your assignments have been set up, so that assignments are showing up on the calendar. But it is color coded for easy identification of different assignment types. You'll see the ones with the green dot, these are lessons that just have a due date. The purple color blocked bars are web tests that have a discrete start and end date. You can also filter the calendar to view just one type of assignment. So if you go to lessons, it would just show you lessons. Web tests would only show you web tests, as well as if you're using smart reviews in our English products or other assignments. And then finally, you can view the month view, which is the default, as well as a weekly schedule and a daily schedule as well. So lots of options here. I hope you guys find this useful. And then we'll just exit out of that. Just a couple last things to touch on real quick before we wrap up. A couple other things you might want to check in terms of getting your section set up are back under tools and then communications and reminders. This is where you can set up automated assignment reminders to be sent out to students via email in advance of certified lessons being due or web tests being due. This is a really easy way to have an additional point of communication with students that you can just automate at the beginning of the semester, and it looks like it's personalized, and Hawks just takes care of sending that out for you throughout the semester. So it takes a little bit of work off your plate, so I always recommend that. You just click into your section name to set that up. And then I would also recommend going to grade settings, which we skipped over, and taking a look at your assignment groups here. This is where you set up your grading scheme to match your syllabus, create your assignment groups, and adjust your weighted percentages. And then the last thing would be under grade settings, a late penalty. We do recommend that you set up a late penalty just to encourage students to complete their assignments closer to the schedule that you have in mind for your course. So with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing and see if there's any questions. Let me check the Q&A. We have like 2 minutes left, so if y'all have any questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A now. I hope this has been helpful for y'all. I know it's a super busy time of year. It can be stressful with the start of the semester. So as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need anything in the way of training or support. We are here and happy to help. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions come through, but if you do ever think of any, once again, just send us a quick email or give us a call and we'll be happy to help you out. I really hope this was helpful for y'all today. And as you're preparing for the new term, let us know if you need anything, and good luck with your semester. Have a great day. Bye.